Well, we're at Silver Reef Mine in Ghost Town, which seems to be situated right in a new housing development practically. And we arrived,
And we've arrived.
in case we didn't know it. Okay, so I believe this is the museum. I don't know that it's open. Is it open?
Yes, it is.
So who runs this place?
It's owned by Washington County,
Oh, it's owned by the county, okay.
and it's run by the Silver Reef Foundation.
Oh, cool. So, this is a pretty cool bronze. It's huge. I'm having to back way up to get the whole thing in. Wells Fargo. I wonder if they paid for that.
Anyway, you're standing in one of only two places on the whole planet where you're going to find silver and sandstone. And the other one is in Siberia. So
Oh.
if you want to check that one out, the boat leaves in just and these isn't even just the whole area. You go 3 miles in any direction from here, you won't find silver and sandstone just here. There's a particular combination of geologic happenings that have to happen to make that all fall into place. So anyway, we've got a reef of white sandstone out there that you can see with the red sandstone above it. This is Uncle White sandstone, and
Uncolite?
a hunk of white.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Stuff.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't look very white.
Yeah.
You see that dark black lineation just under the surface?
Yes.
That's silver
Uh,
in its normal state. You know, a little hard to determine value, and it's even harder to make change. So obviously we have to do something to it. The something we're going to do to it is stick it into the back of a hammer mill.
a hammer mill?
Hammer mill. This is a model. They had 5 of them. They're generally a couple of stories high. They had 5 of them in the area, 3 of them right here in town. And we're going to put this ore in the back, and then we're going to turn it on. And
Oh, that's
these
great.
hammers are going to beat the bejeepers out of the ore. All right, now picture these hammers that are about the size of my finger. In real life, they're the size of this chair, and they weigh 800 pounds
Each.
each. What happens is out comes silver ore dust. Now, rock dust is otherwise known as dirt. Silver ore dust is another thing altogether. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this silver dust in a big tub of water. And the silver dust is heavier than dirt, and it's going to sink to the bottom of the water. So you're going to bleed off the water and the dirt, and then you're going to scoop up the gunk in the bottom of the vat, and you're going to put it in another vat, right? That one, the top one in the row there, for a process called mulling. And what that is you're going to put this stuff along with some mercury in another vat of water. You're going to raise the temperature of the water up to a few thousand degrees, and you're going to cook this stuff. And what it's going to do is it's going to take the silver and the mercury and evaporate them off from the rest of the ore dirt. Wow. Then you're going to take that evaporative and put it in a retort and reconstitute it again, kind of like a still, like a whiskey still, and you're going to have silver.
And the mercury goes
And you're
somewhere.
going to put it in an ingot form, like mold, like that. And the mercury, 7/8 of the mercury is retrieved and reused. The other 1/8 goes out into a tailing pond like this, which is something you don't want to be anywhere near.
Right.
You don't want your kids anywhere near, or your stock, or your pets, or anything else. Nasty, full of nasty stuff. Mercury's not the worst of it. So anyway, well, out just the side of the building, we've got 2 little ore cars that are out there, and each one of them is more or less an industry standard of a ton per car. And out of each ton, or each car, here, you're going to get this much silver. look like much for your effort. Anywhere else on the planet, other than that little place in Siberia, you're going to be digging not in sandstone. You're going
Which
to be
is
digging
easy.
in a hard rock mine, either
Yeah.
granite or quartz or some other darn thing. You may have to dig out 18 to 20 ore cars, 18 to 20 tons to get that much silver. So would you rather do 1 ton for one or 20 for that?
Yes, clearly.
That's a measure of how rich the strike was.
Wow.
Some fellas from Salt Lake City who had a lot of money, had a lot of engineering and mining knowledge. They came down and they decided there was something, there got to be something to all these independent claims to come to the same conclusion. So they started a sample mine
Yes, one thing.
and they struck silver. Well, then the news was out. Everybody in the world descended
That triggered.
silver reef, especially 2/3 of the mining town of Pioche, Nevada.
Ooh.
Pioche was a longtime mining community who was having problems with their mines becoming filled with water faster than they could pump it out. So they heard about this strike over in Silver Reef, so 2/3 of the town picked up their buildings and everything and brought them over here and plunked them down. We went from 50 people to 2,000 people in 2 months. Before, in no time at all, the town looked like that picture. Wow. It was a mile and a half long main street, 2 parallel streets, and about half a dozen cross streets. This building and 2 others were made of stone, scrap stone from the mine and masonry and everything. They didn't have time to do any more of that. The other 2 buildings have since disappeared. This is the only one that survived. So everything else was wood, but it was permanent structure. It was never a temporary anything. It meant it to be an ongoing permanent city.
Yeah, some of the old things here, I guess. Oh. Old Springfield, 4570. These guns are too big to get all in one shot. Guess more of what they found here in town. Coca-Cola bottle. Doesn't really say what year though. Probably booze bottles. Let's go ahead and walk back around this way. Well, that's interesting. Wow. This is kind of cool. That's a carving, okay. It's not a vessel. Almost looks like some kind of emblem here, doesn't it? It is, I can see writing. I couldn't see it with my naked eye very well. No, it's got this on this side. Very interesting. Oh, bottle stoppers here. Medicine bottles. It's your typical mining stuff. Like this hammer. Big hammer. Chisel. They say this is from Pinto, Utah, the chisel. That's just one hell of a mallet. Yeah, I've used drills like that before. Probably not that old, but... Shoes. So yeah, the miners made $4 a day, and that was back in the 1880s, and those CCC guys were getting $30 a month. And I don't know if we heard it, but apparently the Army guys were only making $11 a month in 1880. So you can see why people wanted to work in the mines. 6 days, 10-hour days. $4 a day, 6 days a week, versus 24/7 for $11 a month.
Good for them.
Pay the money, you know.
Yeah, then the clothing. I was trying to get this earlier, but very difficult to get far enough away from it with this lens. All right. I think that's enough for in here. I can hear Carol in the background. Yeah. Good old Father Larry Scanlon. Well, like Catholic priest, established St. John's Catholic Church, St. Mary's School, and a hospital in Silver Reef. And then a appointed bishop of Salt Lake. St. John's Catholic Church. It's interesting, isn't it? It's all Catholic stuff here in this part of Utah. Grave of Park Morris, 16th month old. Huh? We've seen plenty of those. All right. Yeah, apparently this is the original Wells Fargo safe they had in town. They kept the documents in it. Not the original door, obviously. Yeah, so they kept all the important documents in here, he said. And then this Wells Fargo Company, of course, they weren't a bank then. And apparently this was where they kept the ore, or not the ore, but the silver bullion. And it had 2 doors. You see here, silver bars they would keep in there.
Is the church marked?
The inside door does not appear to be here. I don't know what this is. Metal bar going across. Carol's still getting jawed at out there. All right. We're never getting out of here.